What's up, YouTube? This is 82 and 0. Welcome back. A name that gets forgotten over time, but to me should be, remembered always. And it should be in the GOAT conversation. And if not the GOAT conversation, maybe the GOAT power forward conversation. But Bob Pettit, why is he not talked about more? It's unfortunate what time does to people. And it's unfortunate that, in 1970, um, the NBA's silver anniversary team, him and Bob Cousy are the only two living members as of 2023. So we got to appreciate them while they're here, you know. Give them their flowers while they can smell them. That's what I'm going to do. So, Bob Cousy, man, I've done a video on him before, I know. It was back when I didn't have as many subscribers. So here we go. He was born December 12th, 1932, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Um, Now, in Pettit's basketball career, he started out at Baton Rouge High School. He was cut from his varsity basketball team, which, Bill Russell was cut from his team, Jordan was cut from his team. So, it doesn't mean you give up. He played church league basketball as a sophomore and grew 5 inches in less than a year. His father, the sheriff of East Baton Rouge Parish from 1932 to 1936, pushed him to practice in the backyard of their home. Until he improved his skills, Pettit became a starter and made the All-City Prep team as a junior. As a 6'7" senior, he led Baton Rouge to its first state championship in over 20 years. Pettit was then selected to play in a North-South All-Star game at Murray, Kentucky. Now, in college, he would get several scholarship offers from 14 different universities, and he accepted a scholarship to play at the nearby LSU, Louisiana State University. Now, at LSU, he made his varsity debut because at the time freshmen couldn't play. He led the SEC in scoring for the first of the three consecutive seasons, averaging 25.5 points per game. He ranked third in the nation in scoring, and he also averaged 13.1 rebounds per game. During his junior year, Pettit helped the Tigers sail through a 23-game regular season schedule with only one loss, and that was to Tulsa, a clean sweep of the SEC conference opponents. And then he would get LSU's second SEC title. Their first came in 1935. In the school's first NCAA Final Four, he averaged 24.9 points, 13.9 rebounds per game for the 1953 season. Pettit averaged 31.4 points per game and 17.3 rebounds per game during his senior year, and once again led LSU to an SEC championship and garnered all SEC and All American honors. He set a then SEC scoring records of 60 points against Louisiana College, which would later be broken by Pete Maravich. In 1954, his number 50 was retired at LSU. He returned. He was the first Tiger athlete in any sport to receive this distinction. So let's talk about his NBA career. So this is the early NBA, right? Not the BAA, but it was the NBA by then. He was drafted originally to the Milwaukee Hawks, which would eventually become the St. Louis Hawks. Now, the Milwaukee Hawks, they didn't have any success, right? Financially, playoffs. But Pettit made an immediate impact. I mean, he put up 20 points and 13.8 rebounds. Now, the team's record improved with Pettit, obviously. And it was consistently get better. The following season, like I said, they'd relocate to St. Louis. Bob Pettit would take his initial jump into superstardom, averaging 25 points, 16 rebounds. Now, 57, they make their finals appearance against the Boston Celtics. And in my opinion, this is one of the greatest NBA games in history. So, game 7, right, goes into 2 overtimes. The Hawks lose 123 to 125. Bob Pettit had 39 points. So you can't really blame him. I mean, he stepped up. He did what he had to do. It's a close game. 2 overtimes. Right? Now, they would get their revenge in 1958. Bob Pettit would defeat the Boston Celtics. Well, I shouldn't just say Bob Pettit because it is a team effort. The St. Louis Hawks. He put up 29 points, 17 rebounds. Cliff Hagan put up 25 points and 9 rebounds. And this is the only time that the Boston Celtics were defeated in the NBA Finals during Bill Russell's era. And it just goes to show you how great I almost said Bill Russell, how great Bob Pettit was. But I think his game would really translate well today because he is very strong, great rebounder. He is very fast. He was a weightlifter before basketball players lifted weights. But he had a great outside shot. Now, obviously, they didn't have the three-point line. But all of that said, many of his shots that he took, similar to Pete Maravich, would have been in the three-point distance. So he could have potentially averaged more points. Maybe even won more games. Maybe even a championship. I mean, if you think about it, would they have won the championship in 57? Would it have gone a different way with his if he was hitting 3-pointers? I mean, I'm not going to dwell too into that. But anyways, he'd make a few other final appearances. He made a finals appearance in 1960 and 1961. Unfortunately, those would be losses to the Boston Celtics as well. And this is one of the most forgotten franchise. Maybe I should do a video on this. One of the most forgotten franchise rivalries. You think we know about the Celtics and Lakers, but the Hawks and Celtics rivalry of the early 60s gets forgotten. Because, 1960 NBA Finals goes to 7 games as well. It wasn't as close as 57, but it went to 7 games. And for that series, Bob Pettit himself averaged 25 points and 14 rebounds. Now, Boston was just unstoppable during this time. Obviously, they would go on to win 8 in a row, and they would make one more finals appearance, the Hawks, in 61, losing this time to Boston in 5 games. Now, the Hawks wouldn't make it back to the finals ever since. That's crazy to think about, that the Hawks have not been in the finals since 1962. I don't know why that's so hard for me to resonate. They've been bad most of my life, But anyways, Bob Pettit was the first player in NBA history to score 20,000 points. He was the all-time scoring leader for a while until, obviously, Wilt Chamberlain. But his career averages are 26 points, 16 rebounds. He retired pretty early at the age of 32 in 1965. He went on to be a banker, had a pretty successful career in banking in the Baton Rouge area. And to me, he's one of the most underrated players in NBA history. What do you want? Defense? He's got it. Shooting? He's got it. Rebounding? He's got it. No, not really any weaknesses in his game, right? And he's the prototype power forward. Well, Dolph Schayes may be the prototype, but Pettit blew Schayes out of the water. Pettit elevated the game. Like I said, he worked in the banking industry in Baton Rouge. He worked there for 23 years before entering financial consulting in 1988. In 2006, he retired, um, and he was actually married to his wife, who died in 2010. They were married for I don't know how long. I've never been able to see what year they got married. But anyways, they have 3 children and 10 grandchildren. And so let me go over some more of his accolades. NBA champion 1958, two-time MVP 1956 and 1959, 11-time All-Star, 4-time All-Star Game MVP, 10-time All-NBA First Team. He made All-NBA First Team 10 times. 10 out of, okay, he played 11 seasons, right? Out of the 11 seasons he played, he made All-NBA First Team 10 times. He made All-NBA Second Team 1965, All-Rookie of the Year 1955, two-time scoring champion, NBA rebound leader, and he was the best scorer in NBA history prior to Wilt Chamberlain. And it's kind of, if you're Bob Pettit, it's kind of unfortunate that Wilt Chamberlain came around, because you would have been the one that would have scored that many points. So, let me know what you guys think. Where does Bob Pettit rank all time in terms of power forwards and just in terms of all time? For me, I'd say the best power forward of all time is Tim Duncan. And then it's kind of up for debate after that. Like, you could make solid arguments for Kevin Garnett, Barkley, Malone, Pettit. But in my opinion, I know I've changed on this before, but I really do think Bob Pettit is the second greatest power forward of all time. That's just my opinion. And then I would probably have to go with Barkley at number 3. So let me know what your thoughts are down below, and thanks for watching.